This mic, we're gonna, okay. Thank you. Hey, good morning, folks. If you're just tuning into the live stream, we now have audio. I am gonna get on the wall. I'm gonna build something out really quick. I wanna show you radar because a lot of you are I-35 corridor, maybe even our western counties, and wondering, wow, are we really getting this once again? Yes. Thunderstorms moving across the viewing area, drenching certain locations, Burnett County right now. It looks like they actually may have just dropped the severe warning. Let me check on that. But basically, hail up to 1 inch in diameter, gusty winds up to 50 miles an hour, and a ton of lightning along with brief heavy downpours as this activity moves west to east. Early this morning, the sun is now up. You cannot see it. Overcast skies, we're all in the 70s. And obviously thunderstorms heading our direction. So again, Lampasas, Adamsville, just moved through Lomita, headed towards Coppers Cove right now, likely very loud approaching your area, and then eventually Killeen, Belton, Salado, and Temple. So we'll be to I-35 here in the next hour to hour and a half is going to move through your area. Gerald included in that, and Georgetown as well. Just drenching Burnett right now, likely some street flooding, and again, hail up to 1 inch in diameter this morning. Okay, so let me check on the warnings, and then I will build something out. Alrighty. I am on the live stream. Yeah, good. It looks like they did drop the severe thunderstorm warning, downgraded it just slightly. The only warning with this cluster of thunderstorms is actually headed towards San Saba County right now, our far western county out there. That particular thunderstorm is dropping inch hail, it is radar indicated, but gusty winds with this essentially cluster of thunderstorms, Lake LBJ, Horseshoe Bay, Burnett area, Highway 281. I would not travel near Burnett Lampasas right now. There's likely standing and running water there. Moving towards Coppers Cove. And then eventually Bell County is going to be impacted by this, as well as Coryell County. Highway 36, Temple to Gatesville. Expect brief heavy downpours, lightning. I'd say pea-sized up to quarters. If we start seeing radar indicated quarter-sized hail, they will re-severe warn. I don't see that happening in the next few minutes, but they have a special weather statement. Expect wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour as it approaches the I-35 corridor essentially over the next hour or so. With this initial line of thunderstorms, they are strong, not severe quite yet, with the exception of the one that's you can see to the west of San Saba that is dropping more significant hail early this morning. The rest of it is good old-fashioned rain, which could cause brief flash flooding, standing water on the roadways, things of that nature, but the lightning as well is pretty intense early this morning. I'm going to turn it on and show you. And boom, you can see all the lightning with this activity right here. Turn it back off. And going back to current conditions here, live temperatures, we're all in the 70s, but radar is a real story this morning. Clusters of thunderstorms headed in our direction, and I turned lightning on again just to show you essentially what this thing is doing, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn a cone on, and this is going to show you when it's going to be to your location, okay? There we go. Welcome to the live stream, you guys. I'm meteorologist Whitney Huddleston here. I just want to give a brief update. As these thunderstorms approach I-35, drenching our western counties right now. Burnett County just had a severe thunderstorm warning expire. Highway 281 would not recommend travel there right now. Likely some standing and running water on the roadways, dropping quite a bit of rain. Impressive lightning too. I turned it on to show you just how much lightning is embedded within this cluster of thunderstorms. It essentially stretches near Lake LBJ, Horseshoe Bay, Kingsland, Burnett areas, all the way upwards of to the west of Waco and Coryell County. Highway 36, you're up next, as well as Copper's Cove, Killeen, pretty much all of Bell County going to get at least something here over the next hour and a half or so. You can see the timing here, and I'm gonna move off and turn this off so that I can show you how northern that this cluster goes, because it's kind of covering it up right now, but you could tell to Salado by about 9:30, Belton by about 9:40, moving at a pretty good clip early this morning. This is not severe warned right now, but it has been on and off all morning, mainly for hail, quarter-sized or bigger. But right now it has calmed down for the time being, essentially. Let me turn this off so that I can show you this cluster a little more and then show you where the severe thunderstorm warning is. It's just outside of our viewing area right now. But if you're just tuning in, welcome as thunderstorms approach I-35 again. Lots of people, by the way, goodness gracious, Temple caught the brunt of it. Morgan's Point to Temple essentially caught the brunt of the damage and are picking up the pieces. A lot of folks without power that may be tuning into this live stream right now. So essentially I just want to show you what this thing is doing, where it's headed and things of that nature, because thunderstorms are approaching us once again. It's getting quite dark here in Temple, which means if you're west of us, if you're in Copper's Cove right now, Lampasas had just moved through you, Salado, Belton, Harker Heights, Killeen. If you're in those areas, these are not severe warned for the time being, but I'm monitoring for if it decides to strengthen up once again. I would say just under severe parameters though, okay? So gusts up to 40 miles an hour. You certainly don't want to be outside for that, you guys. I would stay indoors the next couple of hours. There's also a ton of lightning, which is always dangerous. Flash flooding is possible as this moves through, especially the southern portions of it. You can kind of see, you see the red colors right there, basically between Lake Victor off towards Burnett and Gerald, Georgetown. If you commute to Austin or something of that nature, I would not recommend travel on 35 here about a half an hour from now and then add 2 hours onto that, because likely there's flash flooding issues as this travels from west to east. It's probably going to drop an inch or two of rain. Is possible, okay? It stretches all the way up to Evant, Gatesville, so Highway 36, Temple to Gatesville, northwestward. And it's moving basically straight west to east. It's also moving at a good clip, okay? About 35, 40 miles an hour is what it's been doing all morning. This thing has been severe warned, and then it'll drop off, and then it'll re-strengthen as it goes eastward. So not ruling out the possibility of it turning severe warned once again. If it does, it would likely be for this southern portion of the cell of this line of thunderstorms, which would eventually impact Gerald to Salado, essentially. Killeen, Cove, Harker Heights, Belton, Temple. It's going to be pretty stout when it reaches you as well. Again, not severe warned right now, but just under those parameters. So pea to penny size pocket change hail, expect that possible with this as it moves west to east. And again, the arrival times on this looking like probably about an hour from now. It is reaching in Bell County, the I-35 corridor. So you have a few more minutes, maybe get your car under something, make a plan not to be on the roadways, I would say between now and about an hour and a half, 2 hours from now as this moves west to east. And this isn't the only thing we anticipate for the viewing area today. This is just the main show this morning, okay? Right behind it, there's actually a severe warned storm. I'm gonna zoom out and show you. It is just west of our viewing area, but entering San Saba County here shortly. We'll see if it's still severe warned right now. It is, and it looks a little more stout on radar. It's near Brady, so to the west of our viewing area technically, but shortly entering San Saba County in the city of San Saba right there. Definitely wouldn't travel there right now, but it's looking like it is potentially dropping some larger hail, okay? Let me show you something here. I mean, the hail core, now that I look at this here, velocity is not showing much rotation, so that is good news. And the hail, it looks like probably just at severe perimeters, which would be an inch. But that could intensify, of course. We definitely have the mechanics in the atmosphere. All right, let me go back if you're just tuning in to show you that main cluster in the viewing area. Moving at a pretty good clip, you guys. It's almost cleared 281 at this point. But essentially, Bruceville, Eddy to Georgetown, wouldn't recommend travel here in the next 2 hours. It is traveling from west to east. Briggs, if you're there right now, the rain is picking up. It's going to start probably some pretty heavy rainfall over the next 45 minutes for you. Oatmeal as well. Highway 29, essentially from the Texas Hill Country and all the lakes there, Highland Lakes, all the way to Georgetown. If you're traveling there, you are going to be impacted by this thunderstorm that is not currently severe warned. There is a special weather statement out over the next half hour basically saying, hey, the winds are gusting up to 40-45 miles an hour. There's a ton of lightning. Flash flooding is possible, especially with the southern portions of this activity. Small pocket change size tail, so likely pea to penny size tail right now with this line. But again, it could re-intensify again. It's been severe warned on and off and on and off all morning. I'm going to do another thing here and show you a statewide view. And then I'll zoom in slowly. You can see this large cluster of cells. Essentially starts at like San Angelo, way off to our west, several hours west. And then stretches all the way, basically a triangle here, but drenching our western counties right now. The only severe thunderstorm warning right now that is valid until 9 o'clock, by the way, we'll see if they extend it, is for inch hail. So quarter-sized hail is enough for a severe thunderstorm warning, and it is moving into San Saba County. It's moving west to east and potentially has a hail core in it, entering San Saba here shortly. And then eventually into Lampasas County after that. We'll have to wait and see if by then, in the next half hour or so, if they end up extending that severe thunderstorm warning eastward into Lampasas County, Mills County, or if they end up letting it drop off like they did the one in Burnett County. In the one in Burnett County, you can see just a lot of heavy rainfall. Entering Bell County now, Copperas Cove, Harker Heights, Killeen, Fort Cavazos, excuse me, eventually Florence, Gerald Salado. You can expect brief heavy downpours, a ton of lightning, thunder. It is getting dark. If you're on the I-35 corridor and you're looking west thinking what is happening, I will say too, it's definitely a thing for those of you in northern Bell County that receive the brunt of the damage and are waking up trying to pick up the pieces. Maybe you don't have power right now. This is not severe warned, okay? A little less dangerous, I would say, in comparison to yesterday evening, definitely. But however, it is still on the dangerous side in terms of don't be outside over the next 2 hours. This is going to basically stretch across our whole viewing area in terms of the I-35 corridor. Almost everyone is going to get at least something. Even Gatesville, you can see a ton of lightning with this non-severe but strong thunderstorm, just under the severe thunderstorm thresholds, okay? 45 mile an hour wind gusts, a ton of embedded lightning, brief heavy downpours. I would say probably here in the next hour we are hearing a couple of reports of flash flooding because it could drop an inch plus of rain, especially the southern edge of this line of thunderstorms in Burnett County headed into northern Williamson County right now, basically between Georgetown, Jarrell, Salado. That's where the heaviest bouts of rainfall are looking to be right now. You can kind of see that indicative of the shades, the colors here, green being light rain, yellow being the more moderate rain, and orange, but you start to see the reds and the purples there. That is heavy downpours. Again, lots of lightning, pea to penny sized hail. Once the hail, the radar is picking up potential hail that's a quarter size, so the size of a quarter or bigger, they will trigger a severe thunderstorm warning. So right now, not looking like quite quarter sized hail, but this same cluster of thunderstorms has been severe warned on and off since I got here this morning, which was like 2:33 a.m. It was way out in West Texas at that point. So it's just been trekking across and now is in our western counties, but approaching I-35. It is probably going to make it to the I-35 corridor in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So it's 8:47 right now. I think by 9:15, likely it is reaching Salado, Belton, and then on its way to Temple by about 9:30. So it's moving at a quicker clip than it was even just a half an hour ago. It may have sped up a little bit. I-14. I would not recommend travel there from Cove to Killeen, Fort Cavazos, Gatesville, Highway 36 from Temple to Gatesville. Wouldn't recommend travel there right now either because it could drop quite a bit of rain in a short time frame. There's also, I will say, this whole swath basically from Rogers up to Troy, definitely Temple, and even off towards Morgan's Point, Lake Belton, and Highway 36 towards Gatesville. There's down power lines. There is huge oak trees that are really old oak trees that are completely down. Roofs flew off. There's busted out windshields, things of that nature. There's damage in northern Bell County. So I would not recommend, if you can stay at home and not travel in northern Bell County early this morning or really throughout the day today as they pick up the pieces with multiple rounds of rain potentially projected, definitely this one that's moving in right now. It just doesn't make for a good travel situation. I'll tell you too, I traveled from Salado to Temple early this morning ahead of sunrise. As I approached Belton, I started seeing a little bit of a light to moderate damage here and there. But the one thing that I really noticed more than anything is a lot of traffic lights were out. Power is out across portions of Bell County early this morning. So you definitely don't want to be driving in a dark thunderstorm, trying to pay attention to the road. Lots of people are clustered around trying to recover, and the power's out and the stoplights are out. It's just not a good situation. So definitely travel's my main concern early this morning. If you are someone that's without power or maybe you're trying to assess damage, I would head indoors now. If you're in Bell County, go ahead and head indoors. Lightning can travel outside of thunderstorms. It's not raining here in Belton, Temple, Salado quite yet, but it will be likely in the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. I would wait until this moves on through. And I'm going to show you something else. By the way, we do have our Facebook going. I know we're playing this on our YouTube. We're on our website. We're on the app. We're also on our Facebook. If you are tuning in on social media, we'd love to see your videos and pictures from last night or today. If you have reports of what you're seeing on the ground today at your house, please put them in the comments. That's the way that we can let people know what to expect when it reaches their location and things of that nature. So any questions or comments, just throw them in there on Facebook and we will read those and get back to you. Again, the only severe thunderstorm warning I'm seeing right now is actually out in San Saba County. Trekking from west to east out there, it actually looks like it's weakened a little bit, but more back building to the west, meaning if you're in San Saba, you've got likely multiple rounds of brief heavy downpours off and on, and potentially some quarter-sized hail headed in your direction. It's basically between Brady and San Saba right now. Likely there's standing water and running water on 281 near Lampasas right now. That's a well-traveled road, as well as Highway 14 from Cove to Killeen. Harker Heights, you're up next. I'm going to zoom far in. So Killeen, you're starting to get the heavy downpours right now. It's probably really loud. You're hearing the thunder, seeing the lightning. Again, this is not severe warned right now. And this is the cluster that about half an hour was severe warned in Burnett County. right now impacting Briggs to Liberty Hill, headed towards Georgetown in the I-35 corridor. Starting to see potentially some very light rain here in Temple. Killeen for sure. And Harker Heights, you're up next. I would say Belton probably in the next half hour. The rain is picking up. You're going to see the lightning. You're going to hear the thunder for sure. Salado, it's probably dark there. You're hearing the thunder, seeing the lightning as well. And again, this isn't severe warned right now, but I am watching this very closely. If it does intensify and it looks like the hail is going to pick up a little bit, we will jump back on air too. I am, by the way, here in about 5 minutes, going to do an update live on the Today Show. We will cut into channel 6. So I know a lot of you are on the live stream right now. Just letting you know that when my voice changes and it sounds like I'm on the TV, but it's because I am. Essentially, but you see, I want to show you another thing. I'm going to jump on the wall quickly and then I'll get this ready to do a little 60-second cut in on channel 6 here in the next few minutes. But yeah, so it'll be 5 minutes from now that we'll do that. I want to show you something too in particular. You see this is essentially a big cluster of thunderstorms. As it's trekking eastward, it's starting to bow out. You see how the clusters are kind of coming together and pushing forward. That tells me that the winds are picking up speed. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting some wind gusts closer to 50 miles an hour as it approaches Gerald to Salado on I-35, impacting Florence right now. 2484 if you're headed Salado to Stillhouse. Likely it's picking up at your location as well. And then off towards Cove. Lampasas, it is past you for now. There is more on the way to Lampasas County, so it's not over. And I will let you guys know if you're wondering, is this the only thing to anticipate for today? For some of us, yes. Not everyone is going to get drenched throughout the day today, but we are anticipating for more thunderstorm activity all the way through this evening before it completely clears out. I am going to go ahead and build up a few things here. We use a graphic system. And we will cut in here in the next 3 minutes or so to, excuse me, channel 6. And I'll just do a brief 60-second update. And then I'll let you know about a couple of other things. And we'll look at that cluster of cells off to the west as well. I'm definitely monitoring that as it treks off towards the east. Right now, it is still severe thunderstorm warned. I am 2 minutes out, folks. I'm basically just getting things ready here. All right, you guys. We're going to do a little 60-second cut in to channel 6. Do what? 90? I actually just heard the thunder here in Temple, you guys, on the live stream. Okay, 1 minute. And then if you guys want to leave a comment on the Facebook page while I do this cut-in, I will review the comments and answer them if you have questions about your specific location as well. I'll try to address all of that here after the 60-second cut-in. I'll have a little break for a while after that. Waking up weather aware with more thunderstorms moving through the viewing area approaching the I-35 corridor right now. There is a severe thunderstorm warning out. It's 8:57. This expires here in about 3 minutes at 9 o'clock. However, waiting to anticipate to see if it does stay valid and trek a little bit eastward towards San Saba. That particular cell is dropping quarter size, potentially hail. Brief heavy downpours, ton of lightning with this activity as well. A big cluster essentially stretching from Georgetown all the way up to Waco, approaching I-35 here in the next few minutes. I can hear the thunder above me here in Temple at the station, and a lot of folks without power, things of that nature. It is not severe warned right now, just under those thresholds, but brief heavy downpours, a ton of lightning, up to quarter-sized hail if it intensifies. Use caution. I would not recommend travel right now across our viewing area. Staying weather aware throughout the day today. Okay. No, you're good. Okay. That's weird. Yeah, for sure.
You're not getting the emails nor the Dropbox.
That's weird.
Something isn't right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's got to be. All right, you guys are going to see something fun really fast. I'm going to flip back to radar here in the next minute or so, but quickly I'm going to do, these are things that we record that basically this will air tonight, and we will be talking about tomorrow. So fun TV stuff. I'll get back to radar here in about 60 seconds, just so you know, or less. We'll see if I get it on the first try. Okay, 3, 2, 1. The thunderstorm threat is not over quite yet. More isolated activity expected. Tune in tomorrow to find out where. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. As we pick up the pieces here in northern Bell County, anticipating more for the viewing area in terms of thunderstorms. Tune in tomorrow to find out where and why. Okay. And 3, 2, 1. Tune into Texas Today Friday morning while I talk about more thunderstorm chances and the heat.
Yes, I can. I don't think Jasmine can. Can you do a mic check?
Yes, mic check. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3.
You're on your anchor mic, or do you have it turned off?
Mic check. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. Mic check. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3.
What mic are you on?
What? Ooh, mic 3. Where does
She's
mic
on
come
mic
from?
3.
This was in my thing.
Yeah, she's on mic 3.
It was in my thingamajiggy.
I say you can get on your regular one later.
I don't see my regular one up there. Look.
Oh, you can't hear her. She said Whitney has yours. She grabbed yours because hers is about to die.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm stopping with Friday morning on Texas today, coming together after the storm, destruction. Should we take that line out?
No,
Coming?
he's not. Can you time us?
I feel like this line is out of place.
The destruction throughout Temple.
A major storm destroys, yeah.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So I'll just say, Friday morning on Texas today, coming together after the storm. A major storm destroys homes.
And I can say, yeah,
stepping up to take care of each other.
after the storm. Yeah, a major storm, which da.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have it for you. Like I'll push it there. I could just remember it.
Yeah, we're going to mentally take it out. Yeah.
I could just memorize it and then boom.
She said whenever we are ready.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Friday morning on Texas today, coming together after the storm.
Yeah, a major storm destroyed homes and businesses. How people are stepping up to take care of one another. Okay, I can slow down.
What was it?
I stopped at like 2.
Okay, so I can, okay.
I'll slow down just a little bit.
Okay. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Friday morning on Texas today, we are coming together after the storm.
Yeah, a major storm destroyed homes and businesses. How people are stepping up to take care of one another. We sounded good? Okay. All
That
right.
was good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, you guys. Back to the live feed. I am showing you radar this morning. We're all in the 70s, nearly 80s, some locations right now, mostly cloudy, with the exception of areas that are not getting drenched with rain. Just started raining here at the station, by the way. I could hear it above me. I've been hearing the thunder as well. So much lightning, oh my goodness. You could see it from here in Temple at the station. I could hear the thunderstorm hitting here right now. Pea-sized hail. Pocket change hail just under the severe weather thresholds, okay? Essentially this stretches I-35 from Georgetown off towards Burnett County. They just got drenched with an inch plus of rain. So much lightning with this activity. You do not want to be driving I-35 or west across most of our viewing area right now, but it is trucking at a pretty good clip, about 35, 40 miles an hour. It's moving west to east. So again, not severe warned, but you don't want to be out on the roads right now. Moving into Salado as I speak, as well as Jarrell. I-35 corridor up next would be Belton and Tipple. Like I said, it's picking up in Tipple right now. I can hear it above me. So if you're on your live stream, let us know what you're seeing at your house. We'd love to see it, especially if you're on the Facebook page. Go ahead and put a comment. What are you seeing at your location? I know a lot of people woke up without power. If you're tuning in and you don't have power, you're assessing damage at your house. I would just recommend staying inside the next hour and a half or so as this line moves from west to east. It's moving, like I said, at a pretty good clip. Originally, we were projecting for it to be to Bell County in the I-35 corridor, including here in Temple at 10 o'clock, and it's only 9:07 right now. So it sped up significantly. It's moving at a pretty good pace. Copper's Cove, you're in the brunt of it right now, as well as Harker Heights, Killeen, Fort Cavazos, upwards of Belton Temple. It is picking up in Belton Temple and Salado right now, reaching Gerald here right now. It is going to look very dark and dreary and scary when it approaches your location. I understand Northern Bell County, you may be waking up and panicking because of yesterday evening's severe weather. This is not severe warned. You just don't want to be outside as it rolls through. I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing some reports of brief flash flooding as well. We do have a flood watch valid all the way through tonight because this is dropping quite a bit of rain as it goes through in some locations. Up towards Gatesville, you would have more moderate rainfall moving through your location and in comparison to the southern portions of this activity, which is now impacting western Bell, central Bell, the I-35 corridor, basically from Gerald upwards of Moody. Between there, most of Bell County, you're going to get brief heavy downpours of heavy rain. You're going to get lots of thunder and lightning. You're hearing it right now. It is looking damp and dark and dreary. No rotation. You don't have to worry about that with this activity as it moves through. Straight line winds gusting up to 45 miles an hour. So you certainly don't want to be outside or driving in this as it goes. I kind of want to zoom out and show you a couple of things here. You can see really a lot of it is along and west of I-35 at the moment, but will be shifting eastward. So if you're east of the interstate, it is eventually going to impact you. It's such a heavy cluster of activity. I zoomed out on purpose to show you two things, one of which how far it stretches from south to north, basically Georgetown and Williamson County all the way up to the northern portions of our viewing area. So most of our viewing area is getting impacted by at least light, if not heavy downpours, and lots of lightning, thunder. It is just one of those dark and dreary, damp type of days. The good news being as it approaches the well-populated areas, the highly populated areas, it's not severe right now, you guys. There was a severe thunderstorm warning that they may have just let expire for San Saba County, headed towards low media, and then eventually to the north of Lampasas primarily, and then Pigcoke, that I know is picking up the pieces from yesterday in terms of damage as well. That was dropping quarter-sized hail. Again, San Saba County. That may have calmed down for the time being. But again, approaching Salado, Belton right now, it is picking up at your location. It just picked up in the past 2 minutes since I got here on the wall to show you this particular graphic and image here in Temple. So areas that, again, you may not have power and you're tuning into a live stream on your phone right now. This is not severe warned again, but let us know what you're seeing at your location and just wait it out. I would not travel around if you have work or something like that to get to. I would just wait it out an hour and a half or so. This initial line will be gone, okay? That doesn't mean it's done for the day. We do have other chances for spotty thunderstorm activity all the way through this evening. It's going to end from west to east, so we could have a couple of afternoon straight thunderstorms as well. I think this will be the heaviest line that we see today, just so you know. But again, I'm going to zoom in and show you who's getting the heaviest rainfall in our portion of the viewing area. You can see it's Bell County, unfortunately, who got the brunt of it yesterday evening. Harker Heights getting torrential downpours right now. Nolan Creek, I bet you it's about to go up. And Belton, it's picking up at your location as well. Highway 317 upwards of Moffett. I know particular areas, Morgan's Point, Belton Lake, that are picking up the pieces early this morning. Lots of down power lines and trees, things of that nature. And you're now getting the torrential downpour here in northern Bell County, unfortunately. So I would, again, not recommend travel. Also, traffic lights are out. Power is out throughout portions of Bell County, from Belton all the way upwards of Moffett and Highway 36, including a lot of Temple. With traffic lights out, you certainly don't want to be driving around when it's pretty much dark outside right now. I'm looking the window here. It is pretty dark here in Temple. So again, with some downed power lines, down trees, limbs, shattered windows, and things of that nature, and even worse damage in areas that got the tornado yesterday evening in Temple, you just certainly don't want to be traveling, I would say, over the next hour and a half or so. But most of today, unless you need to, there's no reason to travel in northern Bell County. It's just not worth the risk. And you also have to consider that there will be other people out on the roadways as well. And there may even be people that are trying to get to the hospital or somewhere urgent that they absolutely need to be out on the roadways. So we certainly don't want to clog up the roads today. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are looking at these non-severe but just under the severe threshold thunderstorms as they approach the I-35 corridor. And I zoomed out again to show you there's a pretty large cluster here. I think flash flooding will probably be a thing here in the next hour or so. It takes a little bit. There's usually a lull between it moving through, and then the water starts to pick up and eventually drain out east. So wouldn't be surprised if Williamson, Bell, Burnett, Coryell, and then eventually southern McLennan counties are dealing with spotty. It'll be isolated, but flash flooding here and there. Also want to mention Waco. If you're in Waco, that's one of our other large metros. You are getting the brief heavy downpours moving into your direction. Non-severe warned either, but Waco Metro getting some batches of rainfall right now. Probably brief heavy downpours that are not going to last very long. Not going to last as long as Salado, Belton, Jarrell, and Temple are getting right now. Down in Bell County is where it's heaviest, but non-severe early this morning. The threats as this impacts your location is going to be, yes, the flash flooding possible after the next half hour or so if it rains that long at your location. Also the brief heavy downpours, pocket change sized hail. So that would be like pennies, dimes, things of that nature. Wouldn't be shocked if someone got quarter-sized hail, but it's not severe warned right now and it's kind of calmed down as it's traveled east, which is good news. But that's why it's not severe warned right now. So pocket change sized hail, maybe some pea-sized hail is possible as it moves through. The gusty winds as well, definitely a story this morning as these thunderstorms have kind of clustered together. And again, moving into Salado, moving into Belton right now, Highway 317, Highway 36. You're getting the brief heavy downpours right now, Colleen, Fort Cavazos, Harker Heights as well. All of you are probably experiencing the heaviest of downpours right now in Bell County. I want to show you one more thing. You're wondering, what about the rest of today? This moves through here in an hour, hour and a half or so. What else can we expect? This has been such a wild 24 hours now. Okay, fast forward to late this afternoon. We potentially have more rounds of isolated activity. Certainly not everyone is going to see it. After this initial line moves through, a lot of us likely going to see a lull, meaning a break between activity, and some of us, this may be all we see for today. So it's going to be spotty in nature. I don't think there will be a super heavy line moving through again today, but isolated strong thunderstorms that could reach severe thunderstorm warning thresholds are possible this afternoon through this evening, okay? So just be aware of that. But I'm looking at 10 o'clock this evening, and it looks like by then it's gone and it's quiet. So overall threat is going to end eventually, you guys, from west to east. I want to tell you about tomorrow as well. Let's go ahead and heads up. I'm bumping up our rain chance and thunderstorm chance for tomorrow. It was 10%, then 20%. I'm now saying 30%. Wouldn't be surprised if we bump it up this afternoon to 40%, because it's looking like more isolated in nature than yesterday and today, but definitely the possibility of some evening thunderstorms tomorrow on Friday. Tomorrow, isolated, but possibility of some thunderstorms across the viewing area again. Again, now through this evening, the main headlines to know, hail and winds are the likely reasons for warnings. Not ruling out a tornado for today. I know that's everyone's big lingering question after yesterday evening, especially in Bell County. Not ruling it out. This morning's thunderstorms, they're not having rotation, okay? That threat would be, if we see anything whatsoever across our viewing area, it would be this afternoon, this evening, with the isolated cells that are popping up. And your 7-day forecast too, I didn't get to show that a whole lot this morning. Not enough anyway. Just so you know, Memorial Day weekend, like when is this thing gonna calm down, right? Tomorrow, that isolated thunderstorm chance in the afternoon and evening hours. Saturday and Sunday, I'm putting a 10% shot of a very spotty thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening hours, but the heat's going to be the story. It is going to be so humid, y'all, all the way through Memorial Day when finally a cold front gives us a little bit of relief. At least it's not going to be so humid when we wake up Tuesday. But we're going to be approaching and maybe even breaking 95 degrees. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, dangerously high heat index values, y'all. It's going to be hot and humid. It's going to feel like it's 100 plus degrees. I'm going to go back. Those of you who are tuning into the live stream, I want to go back to radar here. And if you have questions, again, leave them in the comments and we will answer them as we can. I'm trying to look out the window. Golly, there's so much moisture. We actually have damage here at the station. By the way, we lost a portion of our roof. It's kind of blocking my view. That was yesterday evening, by the way. No wind. Someone just came in here to the studio and was telling me the wind isn't so high here in Temple right now, just some pretty heavy rainfall. And yes, thunder and lightning, for sure. Looking at a couple of reports out of Burnett from earlier this morning. Potentially some quarter-sized hail, which is not surprising. It looks like there's a line. I want to point something out here. I'm going to zoom out. Again, if you're just tuning in, you guys welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just going over radars. These thunderstorms are now impacting I-35 corridor. Pretty heavy populated areas, and some of which don't have power and are trying to pick up the pieces from yesterday evening. I'm seeing Pidcoke has had over 3 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. And that is essentially north of Copper's Cove. Lightning and thunder? Yes. Yeah. We're definitely seeing some lightning and thunder. It's picking up here in Temple right now. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings for the time being, but I want to point something out. Get back on the wall to show you, and I'll literally point at it. So this dropped an inch of rain in some locations as this line has moved from west to east and is now at the I-35 corridor. But I want to point something out. Since I would say 2 hours or so ago, San Saba County has had multiple rounds of rain, including the line that is now impacting Temple and the surrounding areas in Bell County. They now are being impacted by multiple other cells with more back building to the west. That tells me that they've already had potentially an inch of rain. It's raining there right now. It's not severe warned, but flash flooding is going to start to be a threat. I would say a line from Brady to the west of San Saba, towards San Saba, Lamita, towards Copper's Cove to the north of there. You have now had multiple rounds of rain and more keeps forming. We call this training, like a choo-choo train. That essentially means storms are forming over the same areas and going over the same areas over and over and over. So flash flooding, I would say a corridor. Again, Brady in the Texas Hill Country towards San Saba County. 281, by the way, kind of runs right here to the west of near Lampasas in the Texas Hill Country areas. Maybe your kids are out of school and you're going to Highland Lakes or Lake LBJ, something of that nature. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some flash flooding, but especially more north. San Saba, Lomita, north of Lampasas, 281, Adamsville, and Pidcoke. Pidcoke has had 3 inches of rain in the past 15 hours or so. So I think flash flooding on this corridor, again, I'm going to physically point at it. Multiple rounds of rain already this morning, and more keeps back building. What does back building mean? Back building means behind an initial line. So you see San Saba getting some brief heavy downpours right now. By the way, none of this is severe warned if you're just tuning in. And you can of course see right here behind me, Slidell, Belton, Gerald, Temple, Killeen East is now getting impacted by heavy thunderstorm activity that is not severe. It is brief heavy downpours, lightning, pea-sized hail being reported, and a ton of thunder. I'm hearing it right here above me here in Temple. So that's all moving eastward, and it's not severe warned, but again, wouldn't recommend travel. But yeah, I was talking about the training. That means when storms start to back build and train, that means San Saba, for example, you've already had about an inch plus of rainfall this morning. You already had a line move through. You've got another small thunderstorm, but likely dropping some heavy downpours right now. Backbuilding is when we start to see it form off to the west, and then it goes over the same area. So flash flooding is going to be more and more of a concern here over the next few hours, especially as water reaches rivers, streams, low water crossings, and things of that nature where it drains out to. Usually there's an hour or two lull, and then the flash flooding starts. So I would not be surprised if we start to see some advisories going out for flash flooding, especially our western counties, San Saba County here over the next, and Lampasas County as well here over the next hour or so. I would anticipate for some reports of water on roadways. It is pouring. Cowhouse Creek reporting flooding in Cowhouse Creek, and again, yeah, that's Pig Coke. So they have not only damage from yesterday, but definitely getting some heavy rainfall today. Huge cluster of thunderstorms. You see how much lightning is in these two. By the way, Temple is supposed to do a 10 o'clock update on assessing tornado damage. And the National Weather Service just arrived in Temple as well. We will see if that happens on time, considering it's pouring here. Little River Academy, 190 to Rogers. You're up next. I'm going to focus on Bell County here for a second. By the way, if you just woke up and you're wondering what the heck happened yesterday evening, essentially, a tornadic storm impacted northern Bell County right around the Morgan's Point area. It touched down, and there's social media videos galore. You could see it near West Adams is where the brunt of the damage is from that tornadic storm. But basically goes to downtown Temple. Here at the station we have some damage. Yet to be told where that tornado actually dropped down, did the damage, and then lifted back up. There's likely going to be areas that had straight lined wind damage, which could cause as much damage as an EF1 or EF0 tornado. So we will get a preliminary report, the National Weather Service. They have to travel here from Fort Worth. That is who manages Bell County. So they traveled here early this morning, just got here, and now we're getting another thunderstorm. So there you go. That's how it goes, I guess. In May, we're familiar with this happening. But again, those of you on the live stream, if you're in Colleen, the brunt of it it's done for now. It's just raining lightly there. Now, if you're upwards of Harker Heights, Fort Cavazos, the Grove, you are up next. You're going to get some brief heavy downpours. Highway 36 from Temple to Gatesville. Temple getting absolutely drenched right now. Belton, you are in the thick of it right now. Lake Belton, you are in the thick of it right now. Stillhouse and Salado, you are getting the brief heavy downpours. It actually looks like Salado, you're lucking out right now. You're getting more moderate showers in comparison to this really heavy activity near Belton Lake, and unfortunately Temple. Unfortunately, right over the area that has the brunt of the damage. Down power lines. Big, huge oak trees are down. I've seen a lot of pictures and videos. Shattered glass, some building damage. I would absolutely not travel in Temple and the surrounding areas today, and just unless you need to. We definitely want to allow people who need to get to the hospital and things of that nature not to have clogged roadways. Just use caution if you do have to get out today. But yeah, you can see these non-severe, but just under that threshold thunderstorms, so strong thunderstorms moving across Bell County right now. Williamson County too, impressive rainfall rates, meaning flash flooding will be possible probably here in about an hour or so. Like I said, it takes a little bit for that to start occurring, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to hear of some spotty flash flooding here and there. And it may end relatively quickly, but be aware that we're not done quite yet. We do have other chances. It's not a guarantee, but we could see more thunderstorm activity later. I think this is probably our larger line of thunderstorms for the day, and it will be more isolated this afternoon and evening. But it just picked up here in Temple. You may have even heard that. Super loud thunder here in Bell County right now. Colleen, it is now clearing east of you. Harker Heights, Belton Lake, and Temple getting absolutely drenched right now. Brief heavy downpours probably over the next half hour or so. These are moving at a pretty good clip, this line of thunderstorms. So you can see it just in that last return expanded a little bit even further eastward. A Little River Academy, Highway 95. If you're traveling from Temple towards Bartlett, Little River Academy, and then eventually Rogers, it's about to pick up, and it's going to rain for about 30 minutes or so. This is moving at a good clip from west to east at about 40 miles an hour. That's fast for a thunderstorm. Bartlett, it's about to pick up in Bartlett right now. Eventually, now it's in central Bell County, central Williamson County. I'm going to show you Waco as well, but yeah, it's clearing I-35 pretty quickly, but could have potentially have just dropped an inch plus of rain. If you're in Waco, I will go ahead and show you what you're seeing right now. Much lighter activity, but likely light rainfall. I'm also seeing some lightning returns in the Waco metro. Clifton, it could pick up a little bit, but certainly not as much as Bell County right now. And as a new special weather statement is out until 10 o'clock, so for the next half hour, and it's essentially going to tell us the same thing, that brief heavy downpours, small hail, lots of lightning, local flash flooding. All right. I'm going to show you this cluster of cells here, and I mentioned flash flooding potentially ongoing or shortly going to be ongoing, basically from San Saba to Pidcoke, so north of Colleen. The multiple rounds of rain have been ongoing for several hours. It's looking like the 24-hour rain totals at Cowhouse Creek near Pidcoke is over 3 inches. That would definitely cause some flash flooding. It's looking like the low water crossings here shortly. Likely there's water on them at Fort Cavazos as well. We have picked up a 1/4 of an inch of rain here in Temple in the past few minutes. Very heavy downpours in Belton, but I'm showing you San Saba right now. They've had a quarter-size hail today, multiple rounds of rain. That is not severe warned, and neither is this heavy line of activity moving through essentially northern Williamson County near Florence and Jarrell up towards Salado, Belton, Temple areas. You guys, I'm going to keep this live stream going. I am going to keep radar up and zoom out a little bit to accommodate everyone in the viewing area. Again, this is not severe warned. I will continue this update here in a few minutes. I'm going to mute my microphone so you won't hear me talking for a few minutes. And I will be back, but I am going to keep this radar running. So if you want to watch what these thunderstorms are doing as they trek east, keep this feed up.
Wild.
Hello, good morning to you. I think that's you.
I can't hear nothing. Mic check. I'm on mic 3. Can you please tell them I'm on mic 3? Mic 3.
I think they can hear you. I can hear you. Of course, the iPad. Look, well, I don't need it, so I guess it's all good. All right, folks, welcome here to 6 News. We are breaking into programming right now to get you to a City of Temple news conference, which should be starting at any moment right now. By the way, your time now is 10:03.
Yeah, that's right. The city has declared a disaster declaration after last night's severe storm. Just take a look at some of this video coming into our studio. Just major damage all across Central Texas.
Yeah, now all morning long, we've been bringing you team coverage. Right now, you're taking a look at the Hilton Inn in Temple. And right here, this is video from Pignetti's, which is a very popular Italian spot in downtown Temple. The roof came in. I know several people were at the Temple Mall. Jasmine,
Yes.
you saw that video yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just all of my timeline, people are sharing videos. So constantly in contact with people in the community, you know, just asking them about, you know, their experience and what happened as they were, you know, just in Temple, you know, asking them, you know, if we can just use their video just so you guys at home can see this damage that's going on across Central Texas. So.
Yeah, and that damage is really widespread. I know people in Waco said they didn't have any power. I know earlier this morning we had about 50 to 60,000 people without power in Bell County, but one of the hard-hit areas here was really West Adams Avenue in Temple. If you've been to Temple, you know that's a very populated street with many new businesses and such. I mean, looking at Shipley's Donuts was just destroyed. It looked unreal.
Yeah, looked almost unrecognizable when you go down West Adams, because a lot of those business people frequent a lot. And to see them like that is just very, very heartbreaking. There, you just saw the Cefco there, a lot of restaurants just it's a mess, you know? So, all right, we take you live to the Temple Police Department, where the city is updating people right now on the severity of damage across the city.
TIMDAVIS. Next, you're going to hear from Temple Police Chief Sean Reynolds. His name spells SHAWNREYNOLDS. Next, you will hear from Temple Fire and Rescue Chief Mitch Randles, MITCHRANDLES. Then we will get an update from Grant Cruz, GRANTCRUISE, and he's the Communications Manager for Encore. And then lastly, you will hear from Temple Emergency Management Program Manager Jennifer Henniger, JENNIFERHENAGER. Once they have concluded their statements, we will take questions from you. If you could please state your name, what affiliation you're with, and who your question is directed to, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. We appreciate you guys being here. I know this is a trying time, and chances are a number of you have damage at your own homes. And so we appreciate you being out there and doing your jobs to communicate out to our community. First thing I want to say is this was a very strong and devastating tornado. There are many people that lost property, many people that lost homes. There were a few injured. Thankfully, nothing very serious. I don't think Scott and White and our other medical facilities had many admissions or anything like that. So even though property damage was extensive, the most important thing, that being the lives of our neighbors, were everyone seems to be in good order there, thankfully. I want to, as always, emphasize the hard work and the dedication of our public servants. We had fire and police crews out just immediately, all hands on deck. Everyone was working together. Good communication. I spent some time in the Emergency Operations Center last night and again this morning, and we're blessed to have the professionalism that we have here in Temple. Our folks were prepared and doing a very good job. Also, to our public works employees, the floodwaters that we had last night on top of last week's floodwaters and maybe the week before has really been trying for us lately, and our public works folks have really stood up to the challenge and are really doing a good job. We all have a lot to be proud of with those folks. Overall, like I said, the damage is extensive. Mostly in West Temple. That's where the tornado actually touched down. There is extensive damage to property, both businesses and homes there. So I've talked to other people that are calling me from West Adams saying, man, the damage is extensive, number one, and traffic is really backed up. Stay out of there. Let the professionals get in there and do their work. The last thing they need is a bunch of people that don't need to be there, causing traffic jams and just sort of being in the way. So I haven't driven out there, although I want to. But again, I'm not an expert. I would just be in the way. So we ask you to please stay out of there. The next place that probably had the most extensive damage around town is South Temple. I was told today that a lot of that is simply tree damage, trees that have been blown over, blown into houses and things like that. So again, very extensive damage there. And if you will recall, back in 2021, the City of Temple contracted with a company after that ice storm in February, contracted with a company from Alabama to come out and to help us with the debris. We have been in contact with that same company. They did a stellar job last time. We expect nothing less from them this time, and they will be on the ground tomorrow to assess damage and to, basically bring their professional opinion here to see what assets they need to bring to Temple to help us with the cleanup. If you'll remember last time, the cleanup did take a while, and we expect this one to take a while also. If my recollection is correct, I believe that company in 21 removed 600,000 cubic yards of debris. And that's just off the top of my head. It may have been more, but either way, it is substantial. And so we're just going to ask the citizens of Temple to be patient. And just like last time, we're working to get there. Get the debris out to the side of the road if you can. Be prepared for them because they will be on the ground, I would assume, the very early part of next week. So it'll be full cleanup mode from here on out. We did declare a disaster last night. I signed that disaster decree last night, which is helpful to us. It puts us in line for some state dollars to help with some of these expenses. And so we have issued that. It's my understanding the county is going to do the same. But that's one thing that we have done so far. Also, I want to thank other city officials, the administrative folks that got out to the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, again, last night and today, making decisions, getting marketing material out there, getting out on social media so everyone is aware of where we stand. And again, professionals all the way around, and that's always very much appreciated. We've done this before, right? With Winter Storm Uri in 20, we handled a week of freezing and, multiple public service issues. We had water line breaks, we had sewer issues, we had electric delivery issues. We did that in 20, and we survived it. We did that again in 21 with that ice storm, again, the 600,000 cubic yards of material. And we're doing it again now. So we've done this before. Our public servants, our public safety folks know how to do this. Unfortunately, lately we are well seasoned in doing this, but we haven't. So I don't want anybody in the community to think that for some reason the city of Temple is standing flat-footed. We have the assets in place. We have the people in place. We're a resilient community. And we'll get through this again just like we have the last few years. So thank you to the citizens of Temple and being able to provide the tax dollars that provide the assets to keep our community clean and to keep our community safe. And so if nothing else, the message I want to pass on is that we're prepared. It's going to take a while, but we are prepared for this, and the city of Temple will be just fine. And also, I ask that you be sure that whenever you see your first responders, those folks that are out there in the fire trucks, in the squad cars, etc., whenever you see them after this is over, thank them because they're the ones that are working hard to keep us safe. So again, thank you all for being here. That's the end of my comments. And we appreciate everything that y'all do for our community. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Following last night's event, all available staff with the Temple Police Department responded from around the area to assist with the safety and security in the city of Temple. In addition, we requested assistance from a number of outside agencies to include the Killeen Police Department, the United States Marshals, Texas Department of Wildlife, Temple Independent School District, Troy Police Department, Rogers Police Department, and Gatesville's Public Works. Due to the damage for safety and security and the protection of property, we have restricted access in some areas of the city. Portions of our city sustained significant damage last night. I know there is a natural curiosity to want to look at the damage throughout the community. However, I'm requesting that you please be aware that some of our areas of our community will have restricted access to owners and residents that live in those areas. Please honor our efforts to protect certain areas as we continue to have down power lines and extensive damage throughout some areas. We would ask everyone, please do not drive around barricades, cones, or police vehicles. They have been placed in specific areas for your safety. I would ask that if you do not have to be on the road, please do not be out and about. Got a text message from an officer. He said it should have taken him 7 minutes to get someplace. It took him over 30 minutes to get to where he needed to respond to. I cannot emphasize enough to please stay off the road if you do not have a legitimate reason to be out. You are slowing down first responders, and you are slowing down various service providers who are trying to restore the normal access to services that we so enjoy. In addition, following the recent rain that we just got through moments ago, I would ask you to please do not drive into high water. Turn around, do not drown. Two areas of our community that were hit hardest are Lake Point and Lake Point Terrace in the West Temple area. We have restricted access at the following locations for both the safety and security of the community. For members of our community that live inside of Lake Point and Lake Point Terrace, we request that if you need to get access to those areas, please respond to Tarver Elementary. Officers will verify your residency and we will make sure you get access to your property. The Temple Police Department has restricted access at the following locations in the Lake Point and Lake Point Terrace area: along Brahma and Cantera near Skycrest, Prairie Creek and Fieldstone, Parkfield and Fieldstone, Fieldstone and Brahma, Hawthorne and Brahma, Honeysuckle and Brahma, Red Brush and Brahma, Westfield and Adams, Fieldstone and Westfield, Cedar and Alabama. We also have officers stationed along the Adams corridor at various locations. Meadowbrook is closed south and north of West Adams due to power lines across the roadway. Businesses in this area between Westfield and Meadowbrook also sustained heavy damage, and officers are providing security to the area while these businesses are secured. We will continue to have a presence throughout the community 24/7, 365 as we navigate this challenge. Following the event last night, officers entered numerous businesses and residents checking for potentially injured staff, employees, and residents. Additional checks will continue today as necessary. The Temple Police Department remains upstaffed with personnel and outside agency assistance, and we will continue to have additional staff on duty until it is no longer needed. Thank you to our outside agency partners who responded to assist us last night and who remain on site today to assist us as we navigate the challenges associated with the storm. For emergency needs, always call 911. For non-emergency law enforcement needs, please call 254-298-5500. Please stay away from damaged areas and stay off the road if you do not need to be out. In the midst of the challenges that we faced, I wanted to highlight what we observed yesterday and continue to observe today. Personal observations within the city and community of the City of Temple, Bell County, and the Texas spirit really rises to the occasion and reemphasizes the goodness in humanity. We have observed neighbor helping neighbor, neighbor helping friends, and neighbors helping strangers. Similar to our experience with Winter Storm Uri, the Temple, Bell County, and Texas community respond very well to challenges. Please continue to take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to start off by addressing the storm to start off with. So last night, Emergency Manager Henniger and I were both watching weather radar and in constant communication with the National Weather Service concerning the storm as it approached our city. Shortly before arriving in our city, it did turn tornadic with estimated radar wind speeds over 80 miles an hour and also massive rotation noted within that. At 6:03 yesterday, we had the first tornado warning that included the city of Temple, and our sirens, outdoor warning sirens, were activated at that time. A second time, as that storm came actually to the city of Temple and was entering the city limits at 6:20, we sounded the sirens a second time to again urge residents to take shelter and cover. And then a third time at 6:25, we activated the sirens on the east side of Temple as the storm progressed across town and started to threaten the areas east of I-35. Within moments after the storm passed, fire stations and fire crews immediately sprung into action, and two of them actually had to self-extricate themselves from their stations as they were damaged by the storm as it passed. Luckily, no fire crews were injured and no fire apparatus were damaged, and so they were out in the community very quickly. We initiated an emergency callback of our crews, and we had an overwhelming response of our personnel back in and had every Temple Fire Rescue vehicle staffed, working well into the night last night. We had over 500 homes and businesses impacted in some way, shape, or form, from minor roof damage or tree damage to major structural damage and potentially even destroyed the structure. 100 of those were personally searched by Temple Fire Rescue and our mutual aid partners, as well as Temple PD, to assure the safety of the residents and the employees that were in those structures. And we counted over 30 different injuries. Most of those were minor in nature and were either self-transported to the hospital or taken by our local EMS provider, Temple EMS and Killeen EMS, as they came to our aid last night. Currently, we feel that the search and rescue portion of this is over, but we do stand ready with additional crews to respond to any incidents or needs that are found in the community, and so we do stand ready still to go back into that search and rescue mode if needed for those that are affected. We will be starting the recovery phase at this point, so from this point forward, like I say, we are into recovery. We do have a windshield survey of the damage areas going on currently with the assistance of Temple PD to lock down all of the damage areas that are within the city of Temple and to get us a good estimation of how much of the city is actually affected by this storm, either by the tornado or the straight line winds that came through. If you choose to get out into your yard or out into the community and help your neighbors or work on your own home, I'd like to caution you about a few things. First of all, power lines. Do not approach them if you see a power line down. There is no way to know for sure if that power line is energized or not. Even if it is on the ground, it could be energized, and just merely getting close to it could be fatal. So please stay away from power lines. If you do see those down, and especially if they are on something metal, such as a chain link fence or something like that, stay away from the fence as well. It can actually energize several blocks worth of metal fencing as well. And so, again, if you see power lines down, stay completely clear and away from them, and call either Encore, and you can also report that online, and I'm sure the Encore representative is going to give you that information here in a minute, or call 911, and one of the first responder groups will come out and check that line and make sure that Encore gets that. Gas leaks. We've responded to a number of gas and propane leaks in the city, obviously. Kind of the same thing there. If you can, shut the gas off. Obviously, if it's a propane tank, just turn the valve off. If it's the gas valve, you can turn that off very simply. But if you don't feel like you can do that, please call 911. They will get that information to us, and we'll come help with that. If you smell gas inside your home or your business, again, call 911 and evacuate the structure. Let us come and check it for the gas and get Atmos representatives on the way. If you choose to get out and clear limbs, only do so if you are capable of operating that power equipment. So chainsaws and other large power equipment is very dangerous in these situations. When you go to cutting the trees and removing the trees, some of them will fall or spring back in ways that you may not expect, and so be very careful with that. I would recommend that you use a professional to remove most of these, especially if they're on a structure or leaning over in some sort of precarious manner. If you do get out there, make sure you wear all of the proper safety equipment. Wear protective clothing head to toe, long sleeves, long pants, heavy work boots, gloves, glasses, helmet to help protect you in case something would go wrong. Absolutely stay away from any limbs or trees that are entangled in power lines. Again, they can be energized even if they do not look that way or are not actively arcing, and can be deadly. We do have damage to 4 of our fire stations right now. I do want to emphasize that while we do have damage and one of our stations is significantly damaged, we still are occupying those, we still are responding out of those, and we will continue to do so to protect the citizens and the community of Temple ongoing. So again, it's been a very challenging 24 hours for us, or 12 to 24 hours for us, and we're going to continue to serve and protect the citizens to the best of our abilities.
Good morning. I just wanted to give you a quick update on where things stand with Encore and power outages around our area. Our restoration and assessment teams have been working throughout the night to get customers back on and get a handle on what kind of damage we've seen to our infrastructure throughout the area. We do have numerous down poles. Some transmission towers have also been impacted by the storm. Right now for the Temple area, we stand at around 40,000 customers out. System-wide, right at the moment, we're under 60,000, so the vast majority of our customers that are impacted are within the Temple area. Our assessment period will continue throughout the day. We are moving personnel into the area to help out with the efforts. We have staging sites that have been set up where poles and generators and transformers are being stored so that we can quickly move into those areas once they are safe to travel and get that equipment up. It's important to understand that a lot of this area, simple replacements, will not be enough. We're looking at complete rebuilds for many parts of this area. So that will take some time. We will want customers to practice as much patience. We understand this is frustrating and that a prolonged outage is something no one wants. We are moving people in to get power back on as quickly and safely as possible. But it's also important to understand that just because our infrastructure and our equipment has been fixed, some houses will not be able to receive power after that. Some houses will require private electricians to come in. They will also require, in some cases, city inspections to be done. But we should have a better handle on that over the next few hours as far as how long those restorations will take. So right now I'd like to kind of echo what has already been said, making safety the priority, safety for not only our employees but also our customers. As you are venturing out to kind of assess the damage around your property, again, be sure that as you try and move some of the debris around, that it's not touching any power line. You should always assume that a down power line still is energized. If it's, as was stated, chain link fences, vegetation, also pets and animals that might come into contact with our lines, it's possible that those can be energized as well. So put your safety first, stay clear of those things. Also check in with family members, loved ones that might be without power. If you do have power, kind of make a plan. If you don't, perhaps move to places where you can get power and put your safety first. Again, echoing back about keeping our roads clear. Our crews will need room to work, so as much as it can be avoided, do not travel through impacted areas. We want to get everybody, everybody home safe. Many of our employees who are out working this storm, their homes are without power too, so they're eager to get this work completed quickly and safely, as all of you are. I would say if there is a down power line that you come across, as best you can, leave the area, keep others away from the area, but definitely call 911. Do not call Encore for a downed power line. If you have an outage, there are ways to communicate with us at encore.com. You can also text out to 66267. That'll be a good, quick way to let us know your power is out so we can kind of chase that back and make sure that we get those folks on. And again, call 911 if you see a power line down, but obviously today we'll be working throughout the day, throughout the overnight as necessary to get everybody back on, putting employee safety and putting customer safety as top of mind.
Good morning. So we activated our Emergency Operations Center, our EOC, at 6:50 last night. As Chief alluded to, we were monitoring the weather. As soon as we identified that the damage was going to be fairly extensive, we went ahead and sent out our message, our mass notification message to our team, and called them in when it was safe for them to travel. We got in, were able to start doing assessments, start figuring out where the damage was primarily located, start working through those continue working through those call logs. I apologize. That team includes fire, police, public works, communications department, city management, emergency management. A lot of our leadership from the city of Temple was there and representing their areas, their departments. We work collaboratively as a team to address those needs as quickly as they are identified. We are also collaborating with our county partners. I've been in close contact with Bell County Emergency Management. Colleen Emergency Management has provided some assistance as well. Any of our needs that are not able to be met here locally or resource requests, then we escalate that up to the state, to the Texas Division of Emergency Management. That's kind of how that request process works. The information will go up and then the resources, when they're identified and available, are dispatched to us. So we do have an opportunity for volunteers. We've been receiving some requests. I want to help. How can I help? What's the best way to engage? Crisiscleanup.org. Folks can go on and register if they are affiliated with an organization. So if they are not affiliated with an organization already, then they can call 254-298-5970. And we will be able to try to plug them in, get their information, and identify what the needs are and how best that we can utilize them. We have opened a shelter location at the Wilson Recreation Center at 2205 Curtis B. Elliott Drive. We have partnered with American Red Cross. They are managing that site for us. We do have some of our staff there to provide assistance and support to them. We only had about 25 individuals there last night, but we do have more capacity. So if there is a need, as we go through the day, the temperatures warm up a little bit with the humidity. Even if folks don't need to stay overnight, they are welcome to go to Wilson Rec to get out of the heat. That will be open as long as that need is identified. To report any downed trees, we have a list running, and we are trying to work through making sure that we have cleared roadways as our primary, but collecting that information. 298-5970, that same number that I mentioned a minute ago. You can call that number to report any downed trees, if they're blocking roads, blocking alleys, if you need assistance with that. Gas leaks, if you do have any gas leaks, we do want 911 to be your primary contact for that. You can also contact Atmos Gas Energy Line at 866-322-8667. Please monitor our social media, our Stay Safe Temple website, local news. We will be putting out information as quickly as we have it identified. As the updates are available to us, we will be getting that out through all of those modalities. As Chief mentioned, we are working on recovery now. We left the response mode. We identified that we are now in recovery, and so we're collecting information. We're assessing what does our short-term needs look like versus our long-term needs. This is going to take some time to get cleaned up, to get people back in their homes that have suffered significant damage, businesses that have experienced some significant damage as well. They're not going to be in operation for a while. So we will have some separate objectives that we're pursuing. Short term is more of the critical infrastructure. What do we need to do to get functioning, to get through our day-to-day? Long term is getting back to normal. That's kind of how we view those two buckets. So we will be working on that today as we have our assessment teams providing information back to us. National Weather Service is here. They are going to start doing their assessments. We're collaborating with them, and we will figure out what exactly our objectives are as we move forward, and we'll be sharing that out. I do want to thank everybody for being here, and we recognize. Okay, thank you.
We will now be taking questions. Again, please state your name, your affiliation, and who your question is directed to.
Kevin Bell with Fox 4 out of Dallas. She just brought to mind the National Weather Service. Where are they starting their observation?
Where are they starting? Was that the question?
Yes.
So actually, are you okay with coming up here? So I'm going to ask Patricia to come up here with National Weather Service to help answer. They're not going to be able to answer many questions yet. They just arrived, so they're just getting started. But we'll have her see what she can answer for you.
Good morning. Yes. We are going to go ahead and assess, of course, with the team of the experts here that they know more than us of where, of course, the worst damage is. But we hopefully get a sense of the extension, of course, how widespread, and then when to start and the end, and how bad, pretty much, how the extensive is. So we're going to probably start here with the team and see what, because they probably have already an area concentrated, and hopefully with that we'll move forward throughout the day. So hopefully this afternoon we'll get more information.
Can we get your first and last name and your title?
Yes, I'm Patricia Sanchez, meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Fort Worth.
Can you spell your name, please?
Yes, Patricia, Patricia, Sanchez, Sanchez. Thank you.
I have a question for Police Chief Reynolds. Residents have told us that they're concerned about looting and people breaking into their homes while they're away, their damaged homes while they're away. What would you tell them about that?
So I would tell you, as we enter the recovery mode, the unfortunate reality is we will have some folks that try and take advantage of that. So if you see something, I need you to say something. Contact your neighbors. We do have a watch program that you can call in. It'll be a bit challenging throughout this to utilize that. But talk to your neighbors, have them watch your properties. If you see something, say something. Call 911 if you see something suspicious. As we enter the recovery phase, it is likely we will see some fraudsters emerge throughout this recovery. I would always tell homeowners to work closely with your insurance companies. You can always call us, but if it's something just doesn't feel right, trust your gut instinct. But we're always available to help you and help you navigate that if you need us, so feel free to call us. You're welcome.
Mercedes Hernandez with KSAN. I think I have a question for Fire Chief Reynolds.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure it's been a busy time for y'all the last 24 hours have been. I wanted to ask, where did y'all see a majority of the people that were injured, but you know that they're minorly injured for the most part, but where in town were they?
Yeah, so obviously, most of it was in West Temple, in the area of the worst damage that we've seen. There were injuries at other areas, obviously, as things fell and were falling after the storm, but a vast majority of those injuries were in West Temple.
How were most of those people injured, per se? Were they outside during the storm, or were they home? Did their roof fall on them?
Yeah, I don't have that specific information right now.
I'm not sure if this would be a question for you or just in general, but do y'all have an estimate on how many people have been affected by this? How many households just yet?
So our best estimate right now, until we get our windshield survey done, is around 500, as I said earlier. It could end up being some more than that. There's a lot of homes out there with very minor damage, just to their roofs or from falling trees or what have you. So I'm sure that number may go up significantly. Major damage is less than that. We're thinking in the 100 to 200 home range. And that's homes and businesses. But right now, it's really hard to put a number on it. We're very preliminary into our damage assessments, and so that's about the best I can do this morning.
And then what is the name of the company that y'all will be working with that will help clearing debris?
That contractor's name is D&L Services.
D&J Enterprises.
I'm sorry, not even close. D&J Enterprises. And when they were here last time, they did a great job. They were here quickly, well-equipped, and did the work very efficiently.
Can you spell the name for me of the company?
D and J, ENTERPRISES. I think. Is that right?
Where's Alabama from?
I don't know. Alabama.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Templeville, Fox 4.
Yes, sir.
Temple dodged, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
It was bad enough.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, yes, it could always have been worse. I mean, I've seen video of the tornado and the size of it. And it hit a fairly populated area, you know, and also that's probably most of the newest construction in Temple. So new, well-constructed homes, and many of them were destroyed, and many businesses were destroyed. That was a substantial event, for sure.
Mercedes Fernandez again with KFSN. What can you say to people who are still, trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces right now, and it's, again, raining cats and dogs outside? What can you tell those people? I would encourage those folks to, number one, be patient. They're not forgotten about. We have the services available through both equipment and people, and if worse comes to worse, then we've gone to the point of opening a shelter at Wilson Recreation. So obviously, take care of yourself as best you can. Don't hesitate to ask neighbors. This is a great time to get to know your neighbor, right? Last night, just driving around in my neighborhood, people were already out helping their neighbors clean up debris, etc. And everyone has a heart to help. And so I would encourage citizens to not be afraid to ask those people around them for help. Alec Advar, KWTX. Which station was damaged and was any equipment lost? Jonathan?
So we're still assessing all of the stations right now, but I can confirm we have had damage at Fire Station 3 on Midway Drive, Fire Station 5 on Apache, Fire Station 7 on West Adams, which is by far the worst damage that we've sustained so far that we found, and Fire Station 8 at the airport. No fire equipment was damaged, and like I say, we still have our full response capability at this time, and we have had a lot of offers of help and a lot of help from our mutual aid partners, both professional and volunteer departments in the area, plus several from outside the area that have called me this morning and last night offering their assistance, and so we are fully staffed, fully ready to respond to any of our citizens' needs. So, but that's the four that we can confirm right now.
Also, a lot of the traffic signals around town are without power. What would you tell drivers on the road?
So treat those areas as a four-way stop. Be patient, give way to the person that arrived before you. As I was driving here, I noticed that many of the four-way stop signs that we put down obviously have been blown down with the next round of storms that we've seen. So we'll be out resetting those this afternoon. But please be patient. And it can be sometimes confusing. So I need you to pay attention if you have to be out on the road. But there's an easy way to solve it. Stay at home, stay off the road, please, as we navigate through the emergency phases of this.
All right, if there are no other questions, this concludes our press conference. Thank you all so much for being here.
All right, so what you were just watching live just now is a news conference with the city of Temple as well as Encore. We heard from Temple Fire as well as emergency crews. I do want to point out a few notes real quick.
Definitely.
We know that Fire Chief Mitch Randall said that there's more than 500 homes and businesses that are destroyed. I know driving along Adams Avenue, I did see that that was very apparent. But then he also said there was 30 different injuries. He said they were rather minor, so thankfully they are fine. But he said most of those people were taken to Baylor, Scott, and White, and then 4 of the fire stations did see damage. One of those fire stations, significant damage there.
Definitely, and I do want to point out Police Chief Sean Reynolds, Temple Police Chief, requested U.S. Marshals, Killeen Police, Rogers Police, so many outside agencies coming in to help assist in Temple. One of the things that the mayor and the police chief stress is please do not try to drive around town, you know, maybe take pictures of some of the things that are damaged, because you will just be in the way as they are trying to just make sure everybody is safe and start their recovery phase. Lake Point and Lake Point Terrace, those are restricted areas. So if you do live in that area, you are asked to respond to Tarver Elementary, where first responders will take your address and things like that and let you in the area. But if you do not live there, please don't go over to that area. West Temple was hit the hardest, and that's where they had the most injuries, like you just talked about, Micah. Newer constructed homes are basically damaged, gone. So that was one of the things.
And right now we want to take you out to reporter Mike Rogers, who's been with us all morning long. He's in one of the hard-hit areas along West Temple. Good morning to you. Mike, tell us kind of where you are and what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, guys, I'm live out here at West Adams Avenue, where, as you can kind of see over my shoulder behind me, the debris stretches just about as far as the eye can see at this point. There are crews by the dozens picking up debris from wood that has fallen off of Lord knows where, buildings and telephone poles that have been down. And if I take a step just to my left, you can see this is a telephone wire that was knocked down from being suspended in the air. It's actually been knocked down about a block and a half past the camera, and that telephone pole is blocking the right side of the lane. And this kind of disruption has slowed traffic to a crawl. There were actually crews out in the middle of the street just about 20 minutes ago setting up those cone barriers and trying to get their staff out there to begin directing traffic to make sure everyone is going to get to where they need to go safely, despite all of this debris and destruction that you can see. Now, some of the debris has been removed from the roads to minimize the impact on the traffic traveling east and west here on this stretch of Adams Avenue. And right now we are between North Pea Ridge Road and Old Waco Road. Now, the devastation from this possible tornado is also being felt in some of these parking lots right off the main street. There is just debris, down trees, as we mentioned, chairs thrown into the middle of these parking lots, completely shutting them down, and the businesses that are supposed to be functioning inside them. And now there are also, as we mentioned, owners of cars that were left here overnight I don't know if you can see over my shoulder behind me, that red car right there has its passenger window completely broken out, in as well as the front passenger window, which has been crushed by debris. Just over my shoulder, out of sight from the camera, there is a downed power line on top of 3 vehicles that crews are trying to remove, but remove safely, as there is no rush when there is a live power line in the area that you are trying to remove, as they told me before we got on air. Now, in addition to the cleanup, there have also been other city workers kind of making their way across the street to where there are several businesses with roof damage as well. They're starting to put the tiles back onto the roofs that got blown off from the winds from that tornado. Obviously, it's unclear at this time what exactly caused the damage, but we can surmise that it had to do with the weather-related incident that we all have been living through. At this time, crews are still working to clear some of the roadways. None of the roads have been blocked off, at least in this area of West Adams Avenue at this time, but we are starting to see some state vehicles of state agencies that are making their way out here to help assist with our local agencies. Now, many of these businesses at this time are not open for business right now, mainly because there's really no way to get into any of these parking lots because of the debris that is just lying in the entryways at this time. But crews are starting to take a couple of breaks and sort of move in their other workers to take over the shifts. And you can maybe hear that jackhammer. They're trying to remove the remaining part of a telephone pole that is stuck in the ground right now. Just major devastation throughout Temple, and especially on this stretch of West Adams Avenue. And we're going to continue to keep you updated with any information that we may get from the city as it comes in, as we know that press conference did just conclude a short while ago. And guys, everyone just trying to make sure that the community is going to be able to rebuild and get back stronger than before following this severe weather, guys.
Okay, thank you, Mike. You know, his words echo kind of what the mayor said, that we are a resilient city and we'll definitely get through this.
Yeah, and we've seen in his shot, again, he talked about the traffic there. I know I use Adams Avenue to get to and from work. You definitely want to find an alternative route if you do use that. But I want to point out, he talked about people fixing the power lines. We know that Grant Cruz with Encore said that this will be complete rebuilds. They cannot replace it. It's damaged so bad. And as of 10:25 this morning, there was about 40,000 people in Temple alone that lost their power, and 60,000, I think, total in Bell County. So that number stayed pretty consistent this entire morning. And again, driving past Adams Avenue, crews were out there at 3 a.m. when I was coming to work, and they've been out there working hard to get these people their power back on.
Definitely. And you see how backed up traffic was. We cannot stress enough. If you do not have to be on West Adams today, please stay home and stay off the roads while crews work to try to, you know, fix damage, fix the power, down power lines, and things like that.
Yeah, and we know this could take weeks. And also something that's very important to mention, Temple yesterday issued a disaster declaration. They issued that yesterday. The mayor said that Bell County could do the same later on today. We know that the National Weather Service, they are here to see if it is an actual confirmed tornado. I know last night we had our weather team tracking these storms for you on air, online, Facebook, our app, so many different options.
Definitely, definitely. All right.
So we want to turn to meteorologist Whitney Huddleston in just a bit to give us a check of this forecast, because we still have some rain in the area.
Yeah, and I could do it rather quickly. I just put on my microphone, just so you know, very fast. So I don't have anything in my ear. Y'all have to signal me on how long to go. But yeah, I want to let you know what's going on right now. It is 10:52 in the morning, okay? Severe thunderstorm warning is valid for Northern Bell and Coryell County. I would not recommend travel anywhere in Temple today if you can avoid it, but especially Temple to Gatesville along Highway 36, north of Colleen, near the Army base as well for Cavazos. Looking like brief heavy downpours is going to be possible. Likely there's ongoing flash flooding in Bell and Coryell County at the moment. And you can even see some heavy activity. This is not severe warm, but near Goldthwaite, headed into Coryell County near Gatesville as well. But this severe warm thunderstorm is dropping inch hail, so quarter in diameter. Brief heavy downpours, like I said. So much lightning and thunder. The lightning is dangerous too, you guys. We saw a round move through Temple about an hour ago. It may clip Temple, pointing north towards Troy and McLennan County, southern McLennan County, probably in the next half hour or so. These thunderstorms are moving at a good clip today. We've already had multiple rounds. And essentially, it's not over quite yet. Not everyone is going to see the rainfall all day today, but we already saw a heavy round move through in northern Bell, again, approaching Killeen right now, and then Harker Heights, Belton Temple, potentially a little bit north of there, upwards of Troy, and then Waco, Moody as well, and Gatesville just to the south of there, again, Highway 36 in particular. But eventually, yes, I-35 corridor, you are up for another round of thunderstorm activity. This is severe warned right now. It looks like until 11:30, so about 40 minutes or so. And we'll zoom in and look at it a little further. And I don't have my TV this way, so normally I can look this way. I'm having to look straight at you, so that's why it looks funny. But let's project how long it's going to take to get to I-35. Looking at Moody right here, you can see it is moving straight west to east, dropping potentially inch hail, which could cause a little bit of damage. Also a lot of lightning. It's looking like it is going to be around the Moody area by 11:25. Around 11:30, it's going to be to I-35 in Troy, Bruceville, Eddy, south of Waco at about 11:36, 11:40. Eventually, yes, just to the south of the Waco metro. You can see it right here. So it is approaching I-35. Another round of activity could clip Temple as well. You can see Cove right here, and then Killeen, the Army base, Belton right here, to the north of Salado. So I would say Belton, you're getting the southern brunt of it as the severe warned storm does move from west to east here over the next hour. They have been moving about 30 to 40 miles an hour, by the way, so I want you to be aware of that too. They're moving at a good clip. It could rain really hard at your location. The wind picks up, lots of thunder and lightning. It's very dramatic for about 15 minutes. Then it's gone. But you can see that it's even back building over towards Goldthwaite as well. That's not severe warned right now. The severe thunderstorm warning for Bell County over the next 40 minutes or so, until 11:30. This is for hail. Also, we could have winds gusting up above 50, approaching 60 miles an hour. So gusty winds, lots and lots of lightning. We actually turned lightning off here because if we turn it on, it sort of absorbs the whole image here because there's so much of it. So thunder, lightning, brief heavy downpours, flash flooding too. We have a flood watch for the whole viewing area, and we've already had multiple rounds of rain, including Bell, Coryell, pointing west, particularly early this morning. Multiple rounds already since I got here a few hours ago. So again, the severe thunderstorm warning, if you're just tuning in. Bell County, it is not over quite yet. From Temple upwards of Waco. So between Temple and Waco could include Bruceville, Eddy, Moody, Flat. It is starting to rain heavily at your location. Highway 36 from Temple to Gatesville. Would not travel there over the next few hours. There's going to be standing and running water, likely low-lying areas. If you come across an area that it looks like the water is very shallow, they could have already had about 2 inches of rain today. So just be aware that flash flooding, lots and lots of lightning, brief heavy downpours, gusty winds as well. I mean, 50-mile-an-hour winds. You don't want to be outside during that. And of course, the hail. That is why it is severe warned right now for inch hail. So we are going to continue to watch this. We're on our live stream. If you're tuning into channel 6 right now, be aware we're going to keep our live stream up even when we're off air, off of TV. And again, if you're just tuning in, it is 10:56 right now. You can see essentially from Copperas Cove up to Pidcoke and then pointing east. I will move out of the way and show you the I-35 corridor here. It is eventually going to make its way, could clip as far south as Temple, unfortunately, where we are, and we just had a round of rain moving on through. But Troy, you're up next, probably here in the next half hour. We're staying weather aware really all the way through this evening.
All right, thank you so much, Whitney. Now, we just heard from her. We still have some storms moving through our area and a flood watch, I believe. Yeah. But join us here at noon. We will give you another update on all of the rain and storms that came through our area.
For sure. Please be safe, Central Texas, and we are now going to send you back to your regular scheduled program.
Thank you. Hello, everyone on the live stream. Hey. Good morning, folks. Meteorologist Whitney Huddleston here. Let's do a little update on what is going on outside right now. It is 11:16 a.m. We have already had quite the active morning with severe thunderstorm warnings once again. Our station here in Temple, by the way, I'm sure you've heard by now, tornadic damage and things of that nature, all the way to here in downtown Temple and especially West Temple. We have already had 2 rounds of rain early this morning and may get clipped, likely not. Actually, I think it's going to go just north of the city of Temple, but over towards Troy by another strong thunderstorm right now headed in from the west. So I'm going to have 2 areas of focus. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning up towards our northwest, including Goldthwaite to the north of San Saba, Evant as well, headed in towards Gatesville to the north of Adamsville as well, north of Lomita. I will talk about this cluster first, so the more eastern cluster. That is essentially, it is a heavy thunderstorm. It has calmed down over the past half hour or so. Half an hour ago, it was severe warned as well for hail, inch in diameter, gusty winds as well. It still potentially could have some smaller hail, but again, you could tell if it goes back. Now watch, it'll go forward, and you could tell it's weakened quite a bit, but it's still got a lot of lightning, it's got thunder, it's got brief heavy downpours, and could have smaller hail under an inch in diameter within this cell. This is the one that's in northern Bell County between Cove, Temple, impacting over Lake Belton, Highway 36 from Temple to Gatesville as well. Headed towards you, Moody, Flat, you're just barely getting clipped by it. It's essentially between Flat and Moody. Troy, you're up next as well as Pendleton, and then Bruceville, Eddy, probably here in the next 10 minutes or so. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning for this particular cell that's more southeast in comparison to the severe warned storm to the northwest, we'll show that here in a second, that's no longer severe warned, but still, you don't want to be outside when there's a ton of lightning, and there is within this activity in Bell County. Okay, now let's talk about the new severe thunderstorm warning, and it's interesting. Just in the past 5 minutes or so, they have essentially clustered together. They're starting to do what we call training, meaning these storms cluster together and slow down and go over the same areas over and over and over, being impacted by these storms. The important thing to note when storms start to do this is that flash flooding could be imminent. Very quickly, flash flooding could become an issue. I'm talking about county roads, low-lying areas. If you know low water crossings in this area that I'm pointing out right here. So North San Saba County, Mills County, off towards Goldthwaite, Coryell County as well, Evant, Highway 36, 183, well-traveled road, Highway 84 to the north of 190. That's essentially where this cluster of thunderstorms is situated. A lot of the thunderstorms this morning have been moving easterly at like 30, 45 miles an hour. This is not right now. I keep seeing it kind of recirculating. It is severe warned for inch plus hail right now. We're looking inside the storm and we could see, yeah, that's over an inch and a half potentially. And that could cause damage for sure. That's larger than a quarter. $50 size hail. So once it gets up larger than a quarter, you're starting to potentially see some damage. And that is right along Highway 84. We're just looking inside the storm, potentially what the hail looks like. Okay, so this severe warned storm is dropping hail, inch plus in diameter, maybe approaching 2 inches within this storm. It is right near Goldthwaite. If you know folks in Goldthwaite, make sure they know, don't go outside right now. You don't want to travel right now. Not just northern Bell County where we have the damage from yesterday evening, but these areas right here, I'm talking Goldthwaite, and really west of I-35 has caught the brunt of the rain this morning. I do think there will be ongoing flash flooding issues here in the coming hours into early afternoon, okay? So it's not just the hail that is technically the reason this is severe warned right now until 12 p.m., by the way, so the next 40 minutes. But stretches to Evant, too, by the way, is not just Goldthwaite. It starts to the west of Goldthwaite, and you could see this purpley color that I'm pointing at here. Once you start to see oranges and reds, you know it's heavy downpours. When you see this purple, it's not only the heavy downpours a lot of times, especially this time of year, when it's hot and humid, and when we approach the afternoon hours, it's gonna mean hail too. So brief heavy downpours, hail. The good news being it's not looking like these storms are rotating much today. Thus far, the main threat has been the hail. And you can see this timestamp right here, this is interesting. It starts in the 9 o'clock, right around 10 o'clock. It is now 11:20, and notice, these haven't moved a whole lot. So different than the other lines of activity to the southeast here in Bell County. I would, again, anticipate for some flash flooding for sure. Local flooding on roadways to the west of I-35, especially northern San Saba County into, I believe that's Mills County, but Goldthwaite, and then Coryell County as well. So Highway 36 near Gatesville, near Evant, especially near Evant. In Evant, it is pouring there right now. All of this activity to your west eventually does push off in your direction. All of this activity in general across the viewing area today has been moving from west to east, but this particular area of interest that's under the severe thunderstorm warning, it's not moving as much as the other lines have been, moving at a good clip early this morning. So again, it's 11:21. If you're just tuning in on the live stream, welcome. We are here covering the severe weather again today. Yesterday evening was a doozy here in Bell County, and now our western counties catching the brunt of it. Bell County has also had its good share early this morning, already with multiple rounds of rain, but we're kind of zooming out to show you who's getting what right now, essentially. Now, if you're in the Waco metro, you have missed out on the brunt of it so far. But this isn't the only stuff we'll see today. And by the way, you see the stuff near Goldthwaite, this severe warned storm right here? It is typically, in the nature of today's storms, moving west to east. Even though that one's sitting over the Goldthwaite area right now, not moving very much, eventually it does push off towards the Waco metro. It is going to drench near Gatesville, probably here in the next hour. I would say in the next hour and a half. It is close to the Waco metro. So if it doesn't calm down, definitely could be seeing some flash flooding and the same issues that Goldthwaite and northern San Saba County, Mill County, as well as Lampasas County, the very northern quarters of Lampasas County, are catching right now. So a couple of lines of thunderstorms that are sort of starting to cluster together more and more. And you can see the cell to the northwest of Temple right now impacting Moody and Troy here over the next few minutes. This cell right here, you see how it's kind of coming out there in the middle? That tells me that there's straight line winds too. Even if it's just 40, 50 miles an hour, you don't want to be outside during that. And there's actually down power lines and things of that nature on Highway 36 near Lake Belton. So you certainly don't want to be traveling if you don't have to in northern Bell County today. And you can see we zoomed in to show you particular communities being impacted by this non-severe warned storm. But it was 20 minutes ago, so it's a pretty stout thunderstorm too. Impacting Grove and Bruceville Eddy, starting to pick up at your location. So this particular line right here in this thunderstorm to the north of Temple, thankfully, maybe Temple lucks out here as it heads east and doesn't get clipped so much by this one, but even flat right along Highway 36 for sure, getting the heavy brunt of it right now. Again, the concerns with this non-severe warned thunderstorm, but just under the thresholds being winds gusting up to around 45 miles an hour, could have some pea-sized pocket change size hail as well. It doesn't look as stout as the one to our northwest. This is the severe warned storm right now. Not only is the storm not moving forward motion so much towards the east like the other cells and clusters of thunderstorms have been today, but it's also got potentially 1.5 plus sized hail. We keep looking inside the storm. That's what this is. Aviona here is she's looking inside the storm at something that shows us potentially how big the hail size is. Now this is only picking up 1/2 inch, but what, 2-3 minutes ago on this live stream, we were looking in the same cluster of cells near Goldthwaite and Evant. and it was picking up 1.5 inches hail. So that is why this particular thunderstorm is severe warned. It's the hail right now, and this looks a little more stout near Spring Creek, headed towards Goldthwaite, and then eventually Evant as well, right along Highway 84, 281, and Highway 36. Those are highways, particular areas of interest that not only could have the flash flooding, brief heavy downpours, thunder, lightning with this activity, but also, yes, the hail. And yeah, there it is right there, potentially a core just to the southwest of Goldthwaite, to the north of 190 and to the west of 183, right along Highway 84. Again, Goldthwaite, you could potentially be getting some of this inch-plus hail. It starts to cause damage once it's over 1 inch, okay? 1 inch is 1/4, so a little bit bigger than that. And we'll continue to watch this core. It actually looks like it's intensified, and the returns are a little heavier in terms of the rainfall hitting the ground and potential hail to the west, again, of Goldthwaite. And if you're in Goldthwaite right now, it's already probably a pretty heavy downpour. You are hearing the thunder. You are seeing the lightning. There's so much lightning with all this activity. We keep having to turn the lightning indicator on these graphics off, because if we turn it on, it's hard to see who's getting the brunt of the rain and the heavy rainfall. And she just turned it on there. You can see how many lightning bolts are popping up. Just such a rich, potent atmosphere right now is what we're dealing with. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome. It is 11:26. There is a current severe thunderstorm warning valid over the next 34 minutes, so until noon. I think there's probably ongoing flash flooding by now, because this storm isn't moving like the other ones have been. It keeps back building. It keeps building out further and further towards the west. So even though typically these storms today have been moving west to east, this one is sort of set up and training over the same areas over and over and over, essentially to the east of Mercury towards Goldthwaite, impacting Highway 84, near Highway 36 from Temple to Gatesville, Evant included, you can see right there. North of Adamsville, probably looking very dark and dreary in these locations as well, I will say. Northern San Saba County, Mills, Coryell County. Again, these storms are not moving a whole lot. They are dropping hail that could be up to 1.5 inches in diameter, which could cause car damage. It could knock some limbs down. Also gusty winds too, I haven't mentioned that enough, but the flash flooding is gonna continue to be a concern more and more so into the early afternoon hours, when all of this water has to go somewhere, and it goes straight to the waterways such as the Lampasas River and other low-lying areas west of I-35. And you can see this is pulling in at just under 1 inch right here to the southwest of Evant, but we keep pulling this in and kind of looking and dissecting into these thunderstorms to see potentially how big the hail is. And it'll be 1.5 inches, then it'll be 1 inch, a little under 1 inch, but either way, if it's bigger than peas, it's loud. If it's bigger than 1/4, it's potentially starting to cause a little bit of damage. So this activity again is generally moving west to east, but you can see it's been raining in Goldthwaite and some of our western counties off and on since I got here this morning at 3 o'clock, and it is almost noon. That's 9 hours. So definitely going to be looking at potentially some flooding issues into the afternoon hours. I will say the last time I checked rain gauges, Pidcoke, which I'll move out of the way and show you where that is, Pidcoke down here. To the south, essentially, of Gatesville, near Fort Cavazos, Pidcoke had over 3 inches of rain, and that was several hours ago when I checked. So these areas, Goldthwaite included, Highway 84, Evant, Highway 36, near Gatesville, probably some standing and running water, definitely, and flooding issues, and then the hail, that is the reason that this particular cluster of cells right now is severe warned. It's the hail, potentially 1.5 inches in diameter. That warning will not expire until noon. I don't see them letting it expire early like they did the one that's clipping Temple and Troy right now. Waco, again, if you're just tuning in, you've had light to moderate showers all morning, but you have not caught the brunt of the severe weather quite yet. And by the way, we keep focusing in on the severe warned cell here. Notice more and more keeps popping up here to the west in Brown County right now. So just be aware that it's not over quite yet, folks, and we do have the chance all the way through later on into this evening. I do think eventually it starts to be more isolated in nature. We just have such a rich atmosphere with moisture in the air this morning, with the daytime heat sort of ramping up. It has initiated essentially these clusters that have been ongoing from west to east throughout the morning hours. So again, it's now 11:30. The severe warned storm right now is near Goldthwaite, to the north of San Saba along Highway 84, Highway 36, 281 as well. Wouldn't recommend travel in any of those areas. To the north of Lomita. Some of these areas have already received 3+ inches of rain in the past 24 hours. It is a very heavy downpour. You've got hail in the mix, and you have a ton of lightning too. I'm in Temple, and I went outside when this last line of storms moved through here in Bell County, and I did not feel safe. I came right back inside because the lightning was crazy. There's a lot of lightning with all the activity across the region today. So certainly don't want to be outside. We just turned the lightning back on. We've been turning it off and on because it's hard to see who's getting the heavy bouts of rainfall and dissect into the storm when you're seeing all these lightning bolts here. But yeah, lightning's a thing today for sure. And again, this severe warning is valid until 12 o'clock. Evant just getting absolutely drenched right now. And I do think probably we start to shift at some point to the flash flooding threat more so than what we've been seeing in the morning hours, just because again, once this falls, essentially it all starts to drain into ditches, low-lying areas, construction sites, of course, rivers and other smaller streams and things of that nature. Once that happens, the flash flooding kicks in, okay? So I would anticipate the lunch hour plus all the way through this evening, we start to hear of flash flooding scenarios, especially in areas such as this, such as Goldthwaite. Again, 281, 183, and Highway 36, well-known, well-traveled areas in central Texas, could start to see some flash flooding here and there. But all of this will eventually push off towards the Waco metro. So Waco, even though you've missed out thus far on the severe weather, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get it later on into this afternoon. And actually, if you know weather well, you know that when daytime heating occurs, especially if we start to see some breaks in the clouds and it goes up into the upper 80s and we still have the moisture in the atmosphere, the severe threat is not going to go away until this evening. And you can see that this cluster of thunderstorms potentially in the right around 1 o'clock. So ending the lunch hour, potentially this cluster does make its way over to you, Waco. It's too early to tell whether it weakens by then, whether it strengthens by then, or it's kind of the same. It's too early to tell if you're going to be severe warned in McLennan County quite yet. Coryell County is looking like a lot more likely for you. Where's it going to be when 1145 Jonesboro right along Highway 36, Gatesville right before noon. That's in about a half an hour. So Gatesville during the lunch hour, you don't want to be outside. Maybe eat lunch where you're at or go ahead and leave now. Waco again, China Springs by about 12:45 and then Waco right before 1. It is likely to you. And that's that cluster of thunderstorms. It's near Goldthwaite and north of San Saba right now. The cluster that's north of Temple impacting Troy and Moody as well as Bruceville Eddy right now. It is not severe warned, but it is dropping quite a bit of rain in an area that already had rain today. So just be aware. I-35 basically across our viewing area. Not the best traveling conditions rest of today. If you can, I would recommend staying home. I just went to the news conference here in Temple, hearing about the tornadic thunderstorm, and they're trying to go out and survey it once the rain stops, things of that nature. And they were talking about all sorts of issues out on the roadways, people wanting to come view the damage, things of that nature. And you certainly don't want to slow the first responders down. So I would say Bell County in particular, you just don't want to be driving around today. But this non-severe warned storm that is just to the north of Temple near Troy right now, it should pass near Chilton by 11:50, Marlin just after noon, so about 30 minutes out. Bremond by about 12:30, so about an hour out to Bremond. So this one is moving at a quicker clip than the cell that's headed into Coryell County for sure, and that's the severe warned cell until 12 o'clock. And this is essentially a cluster of thunderstorms here. I'm going to give myself a break and quit talking for a little bit. We're going to keep this up, of course. We will always have it up if there's severe thunderstorm warnings. And we'll also, by the way, we're going to be doing 2 updates in the noon hour on Channel 6. These are 5-minute updates and include weather. So we will be on TV on Channel 6 in the 12 o'clock hour around just before 12:30 and just before 1 o'clock. We'll be doing those updates live. We'll keep this stream going all day, though. We're going to keep radar up. We will pop in and out with audio. If you do not hear audio, it's just because we're muted. We are still here covering this, and if new warnings pop up, we will pop back in and talk about them. But if you have questions, I know this feed is going on the Facebook page. Put them in the comments. Let us know what you're seeing. If you have pictures or video, we'd love to share that out to our audience so that other people can see what you're experiencing and know what to expect if they're traveling, especially in the lunch hour. There might be people out and about, schools getting out, graduations this evening and things of that nature. So we just need to monitor this thing as it continues, the severe weather threat throughout the day today. It does not end until this evening. All right, we can go cell to cell, do a little couple minute update. Good morning again, Central Texas. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for just to the east of Troy, just moved through Troy, dropping at least inch in diameter hail, so quarter-sized hail. That is why this particular cell here, it's a smaller one, but potentially dropping quarter-sized hail. We are getting pictures and reports of Troy. Hail just moved through there, so just be aware it is approaching 320. This is essentially between Bruceville, Eddy, and Marlin. If you are in Marlin, you are up next. Anywhere near the Marlin area. Highway 6 is a heavily traveled road to the north of Bremond as well. You will be up next. Rosebud Lot, you should luck out on this one. This severe warned storm, though, to the south of Bruceville, Eddy, to the east of Troy. Now, moving out of Troy, it is headed at a pretty good clip from west to east, but it is radar indicated, but also confirmed by spotters in the field that are sending in pictures that Troy just got pea to quarter-sized hail. So could be up to an inch in diameter. Be aware of that. Let's kind of look inside the storm and dissect where that hail core potentially is. It is situated to the northwest of Rosebud, to the southeast of Bruceville, Eddy, and to the east of Troy. It is headed east towards 320 right there, 77 as well. And you can see that potentially it's right close to that quarter size, which does make it a severe warned thunderstorm. That's one of the parameters that can trigger a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you just got an alert, for example, you're in Temple or Troy, even though you're in Bell County, it has shifted east of I-35. It is approaching 77 and 320 here. Okay, but eventually it is going to make its way towards Marlin. So if you're in Marlin or northwest of Bremond, west of Thornton, eventually this cell does make its way to you and could potentially be dropping inch-sized hail, so quarter-sized hail. That is why this is severe warned. But again, it is southeast of Bruceville, Eddy, east of Troy, and it is headed straight towards the east. Not the only particular area of interest. We've got another cluster of cells. A brand new flash flood warning valid until 2:30 for Coryell, northern Lampasas counties. Mills County is dealing with the flooding. I would say Highway 36, 281 as well. Wouldn't recommend travel in those locations. 183 either. Essentially, if you're in San Saba, pointing north towards Goldthwaite, pointing east towards Gatesville. That is where the brunt and the big focus on the flash flooding is. One-way low water crossings, roads that have dips, county roads, even well-traveled highways like the ones I just mentioned, likely have standing and even running water on them. I know Pigcoke right here to the southwest of Gatesville and even near Fort Cavazos as well. I checked their gauge about 2 hours ago and they were at a 3+ inch 24-hour rain total. I imagine it is higher now, and Evant included. It's been raining between Goldthwaite and Evant with these training thunderstorms for several hours. You can see the timestamp by my head. I'm going to move my head so you can see it. But you can see we started at 10 a.m. covering this cluster of severe warned cells. And by the way, there's severe warned for 1.5 inch hail potential with this cluster of thunderstorms, gusty winds as well. But the flash flooding is going to be an ongoing issue. That flash flood warning is valid until 2:30. And it's for basically this whole entire area behind me right here. Again, the flash flooding is probably the main concern at the moment besides the hail. So some pretty well-traveled highways here. Would not recommend travel between essentially San Saba to Goldthwaite and then going east all the way off towards Crawford, and eventually I'll move out of the way too. This is going to make its way towards the Waco Metro here in the coming hour and a half time frame or so. It won't get to Waco Metro and we'll have to wait it out and see, does it break up? Does it intensify? Does it kind of keep doing what it's doing? But yeah, Waco vicinity eventually, and let's look at potentially when this cluster of cells gets to Waco. Yeah, right around 1 o'clock or potentially a little bit before. You can see it's going to be to Coryell right around noon, Oglesby 12:15, McGregor around 12:20, and then Hewitt Waco probably right before 1 o'clock. It is potentially reaching you. So we're gonna monitor this. We want to keep watching it. We've been dissecting this thunderstorm for about an hour now. It is severe warned for hail an inch plus in diameter, but we've been dissecting it and seeing potentially at times the hail is a little bit larger, more like an inch and a half, which yes, could cause some damage out there. You certainly don't want to be driving in these locations that not only are dealing with the hail potentially dropping it over an inch in diameter, but also the flash flooding. That flash flood warning for Coryell, northern Lampasas, Mills counties as well. It's going to be valid over the next few hours. It takes a while. There's a lag. When you see rain drop like it just did and potentially drop 2 or 3 inches this morning, there can be a 2-3 hour lag sometimes, and then you start to see the flash flood warnings pop up and the actual water draining into these areas, and then it goes up and it is swift moving. I know this area really well, having grown up in Belton and traveled in these areas, and there is a ton of low water crossings and areas where water very quickly goes up over the road. These are areas west of I-35 dealing with a flash flood warning and severe thunderstorm warning. Right now that is valid until 12 and 12:30. It looks like they have now kind of shifted the whole thing east a little bit. Gatesville, if you're in Gatesville right now, by the way, they have some power outages from yesterday evening's thunderstorms that impacted northern Bell and Coryell counties. So right now, they may not be able to tune into Channel 6 when we do our live cut-ins. We have another 2 coming up in the 12 o'clock hour, by the way, that will be about 5 minutes long. But this live stream, if you're tuning in and you're in Gatesville, Evant, Highway 36, north of Flat, Pig Coke, Adamsville, wouldn't recommend travel on 84, 36, or 281 right now. If you're in Hamilton, you're looking off towards Gatesville thinking, wow, what is going on? There's also a lot of lightning with all of the activity today. So that's dangerous in and of itself. And we just turned that lightning indicator back on. We've been turning it off. You can see so much lightning south of Goldthwaite and in the city of Goldthwaite right now, and Evant, Gatesville as well. So we essentially have this rich atmosphere right now, so much energy. As the daytime heating intensifies and it gets warmer and warmer outside, especially if there's breaks in the clouds, we start to see these storms re-intensify and backbuild and things of that nature. We have so much humidity in place. We've got winds coming out of the southeast, bringing in more moisture and humid air. So not anticipating for this to fully calm down quite yet. It's going to take a little while to do so. And in general, again, if you're just tuning in, this severe cluster of thunderstorms essentially stretching from Goldthwaite all the way over towards Gatesville and even towards Crawford. Now there's some activity building near you. It is dropping a lot of rain in a short time frame. Flash flood warning valid until 2:30. It's also got hail. It is going to be off and on, but potentially up to 1.5 inches in diameter. It is traveling again from west to east and just dropping a ton of rainfall right now in the same areas, getting it over and over and over. So the flash flooding is increasingly a concern for sure. The good news is we're not seeing a lot of rotation with today's thunderstorms thus far. We're not ruling it out for later on in the more isolated thunderstorms that pop up later this afternoon and evening. But right now, these morning clusters of thunderstorms, the primary threats have been hail and now the flash flooding. Which is actually good news. Not as still dangerous threats, but everyone is a little shell-shocked, especially here in northern Bell County from yesterday evening, and understandably so. You're worried, is it happening again? This is a little bit different of a setup this morning, okay? We're starting to see the flash flooding. This is the more traditional, dreary type of thunderstorms where it's dropping a lot of rainfall and just dark out there, moody type of weather. So severe thunderstorm warnings again, if you're new here, thank you for tuning in. We are here on YouTube, 6+ our app. We are on the website as well, and our Facebook. If you're on Facebook, if you're on social media and can comment, if you are seeing something weather-wise at your location, we would love to see it. Again, these severe thunderstorm warnings are valid until the noon hour, but we've also got a flash flood warning out for this same cluster of activity. They've already received several inches of rain today, so going to be some flash flooding issues probably all the way through this evening, especially west of I-35 in our northwestern zones. Brown County, Goldthwaite, Mills County, northern San Saba County, now includes northern Lampasas County, now includes Hamilton, pointing towards Jonesboro, Gatesville, Coryell County. All of Coryell County has received about 3 inches of rain. Some locations, little pockets, potentially 4+ inches of rain here in the past 24 hours, and a ton of low water crossings and water that was already basically at its brim. You add a few inches of rain to that, and it can create big issues. And this is particular areas of interest. I would say Coryell and Bell County, where there's power outages, downed power lines, active lines that are down on the ground. I had a friend that just sent me a message that's in Morgan's Point, and they, at their house, had a downed power line that was active, and a storm rolled through and sparked that power line and started a big fire, started a big tree on fire. So not only do they lost 15 trees, they're dealing with damage, lost a roof yesterday evening, multiple rounds of rain, now there's flash flooding, they've got a fire, and it's just a big mess. That is why we're saying, I would not recommend travel today. If you can avoid it, especially Northern Bell, but also Coryell County, and now in these flash flood prone areas, I would say most of our northwestern zones, you just don't want to get out if you don't have to today. Definitely wouldn't recommend it. I know a lot of folks, it's last day of school. We've got graduations either being postponed, or I know I live in Salado. It's actually happening. We haven't caught the brunt of it today, though. So lots of outdoor activities. Unless you have to, just wouldn't recommend travel today because of all the things I just mentioned. But again, the brand new severe thunderstorm warning valid over the next 30 minutes or so. This is now moved east of I-35. So if you're in Troy and you just thought, what was that noise? The hail moved through rather quickly. It's up to 1 inch in diameter. Honestly, it looks like the core has died down a little bit here in the past 5 minutes since I started this new update. But it is possible. These things all morning, they have been strengthening a little bit, dropping a little larger of hail, and then it will die down and then it will re-strengthen. There's just so much energy in the atmosphere. So not ruling out that potentially it does get larger once again, and this is just one area we're dissecting here, so not promising those numbers. It could be dropping quarter-size hail in Lot right now. Near Marlin as well. If you are in Marlin, be aware that it is probably here in the next 15 minutes. You're going to get the brief heavy downpours, just a ton of lightning with all the activity today. The lightning, by the way, is dangerous. I said a few minutes ago, the last round that moved through Bell County and Temple, I stepped outside to see it and very quickly came back inside. The lightning is dangerous, always, so you definitely don't want to be caught outside. I know a lot of people are curious right now. You want to go out and see it, what was the damage, what is happening type of thing. But the lightning is extremely dangerous. We now have flash flooding issues as well. So we are going to have a few cut-ins in the 12 o'clock hour. I'm going to step off of here and mute my mic. We are going to keep this up and continue to talk about the severe thunderstorm warnings. It looks like I'm probably just going to keep talking. Oh, okay. We will be back.